Dear healthcare, I'm writing to you because I feel really sorry about all the things that are going on in the world that are putting pressure on your profit margin that you have no control over. Love, Matt. I spoke at MGMA and HBMA recently, and it was really, really awesome to just be a part of that audience and really listen to the fears that are going on out there and trying to figure out, are there ways in which we can curb some of those fears? Are there technology approaches that could give back some of that margin that's being lost? I think when I look at the macro things that are going on in healthcare, a few things come to mind. You're paying a lot more for supply chain and labor costs today than you were a year ago, right? And those prices are going to keep going up, right? I don't think they're going to retract, and it's hard to think that all of a sudden employee costs are going to dramatically decrease. Once you set a precedent, you set that precedent. Okay. Unemployment is still at a record low. Open job positions are still at a record high, right? So people are not going to be loyal to you, right? That is going to drive your cost of hiring, retraining, the opportunity cost spent when you have some of your seasoned revenue cycle professionals having to onboard and train new hires that may leave you 30 days later. Right? People are looking for jobs, not careers today. Now let's look at the consumer challenges, right? We're all consumers. We're all paying way more money today for life. So healthcare bills start to become a little less important. I may want to pay you, but I can't. Or I may want to pay you, but I can only pay you a little bit each month for a year. Right? I got my deductible resetting in January, so I'm really going to be under pressure. If I lose my job based on the recession that's coming, then I'm probably not going to pay you. I'm going to put food on the table, shelter, heat, especially in the winter months before that. So think about the consumer. I'm also going to cancel my surgery probably and just postpone it till maybe next summer. I'm a little worried about COVID. I don't want to get it in your ASC or the OR or the hospital. So I'm going to just hold on. I'm in pain, but it's not that much pain. I can't afford to pay for the surgery right now. You're asking me to pay for 50% up front. I can't afford it. So I'm going to wait till next summer when I have a little bit more transparency into my economic situation. These are all things that are going on in the consumer's head, which is going to impact your revenue cycle. For those of you that are part of health systems, hospitals, or what I like to call the unfortunate ones that have emergency rooms, your problems are even much larger. Right? Your pressure on bad debt is going to go up. A lot of times in recession, and I've lived through two now, in terms of being in healthcare, at least a major pullback was in the 07 to 09, 10. We saw, and then the .com also, I saw that too, right after 2000 bust, is that people started to use the ERs as their primary care clinic. Right? And then you got the traumas that come in with no ability to pay, unwilling to pay. So for the hospitals and health systems out there, you already have another thing. For your elective procedure physicians out there, you got to try to collect what you can up front. But remember, I may not be able to pay you in full. I may need a lot more flexibility than I've had before with your practice. So where does this leave us, right? The last thing that I will, I guess, say, which really drops the microphone, in my opinion, is the fact that all these other industries have been able to raise prices and push it onto the consumer, except for guess who? Healthcare. Yay. Here we are. Who gets left behind? Healthcare, right? Hey, Blue Cross, I pay 15% more now for people and supplies. Can you increase my fee schedule appropriately? Sure, Matt, that sounds great. We'll just go ahead and do that for you and impact our own profit margin. No, it's not going to happen. Dear Medicare, please stop cutting reimbursement. Not likely going to happen. A lot of debt out there. So reimbursement's flat or declining. That's putting pressure now on, guess what? Our friend margin. So when I talk with providers and I say you're going to make 15 to 20% less next year, when I talk to administrators and say good luck getting a big bonus, then I say, well, what if we could give you some back? What if I can't get you everything, right? But what if I could give you some back? How would I do that? Well, what is in your control? What's in your control is whether you have the capability to measure the effectiveness of the people that are running your revenue cycle, the operators. It's different than productive. I don't care about production anymore. That ship sailed. The macro challenges I've already talked about in the last 2.5 minutes, accelerated the sailboat. I need effective people. I need lean, effective people that are inspired and motivated and incentivized to get the job done as quickly as possible with the best outcome possible, right? The least amount of work. I also need to have the ability to truly understand work effort, total work effort, which means every single touch that it took from a human, including you physicians, to get a claim paid. So the PM systems, they can't answer either of those two questions. And what I'm telling you is the only thing you do control is trying to get a very lean, effective labor pool who, by the way, wants to work at home or anywhere, maybe even Starbucks, right? They want flexibility. Oh, I got a new generation of workforce coming in too. That's exciting. I've got the Gen Zs and the younger millennials coming in, and they want to be recognized, rewarded. They don't want to work really hard. They want to do just enough to not get fired, call it effective laziness. I know I'm being a little brash here, but it is what it is. So how do you inspire them? How do you motivate them? They need recognition. They also need compensation, right? So you can't do those things if you can't measure who's effective and who's not. This isn't an all-in-one, like, hey, team, you did great. No, this is you are doing awesome and you're not. Okay? Simple as that. But you got to measure it. You got to be able to measure this thing. The last thing that I wanted to talk about is zero touch rate. Right? This industry cracks me up when I look at some of the old archaic measures, KPIs, whatever buzzwords you want to use, that tells you RCM performance. Like, oh, my AR days are 28. I'm amazing. But then that they don't know what their closed balance net collection rate is, which is probably under 90%. Or clean claim pass rate. Oh, I'm at 97%. Well, maybe you need more edits turned on. Why do you keep having all these first pass denials around coding, charge entry modifiers? So I don't care about those measures anymore. What I want to look at is things that are meaningful, like zero touch rate. I want to understand how many claims truly go out the door and get paid without a human touching it. That's what I want to know. And guess what? Where humans touch it, I want to know where and to what extent so I can prioritize. Is it denials? Is it refiling? Is it clearinghouse edits? Is it tasking? Is it all the back and forth volleyballing of accountability? Like, hey, Bob, I need you to do this for me. Bob's like, no, I need you to do this for me, Sally. Sally's like, no, Matt, I need you to do this for me. Well, that's 3 touches. That's time. That's money. And by the way, that money costs you 15% more than it did a year ago. Okay. I'm being black and white here because this industry has frustrated me for 2 decades or more. And now we're at the point where you have no choice but to look at these things. If you want to stay relevant, if you want to recoup any of that margin that's being taken away from you. You know, for you independent physicians out there, do you want to continue to maintain independence? Those private equity firms that kept buying all your peers up the last 3 years for crazy multiples, those multiples are gone now, right? Everyone's portfolio, 401k is down 30% or more. So guys, ladies and gentlemen, dear healthcare, it's time for us to mature our thinking. We cannot rely on the inadequacies of the practice management systems, and that goes for every single one in this country, in this world, fails when it comes to measuring total work effort to get you paid and who's effective and who's not in a objective way. So upgrade your practice management system. Get the capabilities to look at these things. Gamify the experience for your highly incentivized employees.